so let's talk about these lyrics holistically. I think that the theme is great. And I do think that the chorus is great lyrically. I think that we've got a great topic here. Unfortunately, I think that she completely dropped the ball in the verses and the bridge. I don't think that I think that she barely scratched the surface of this very powerful theme of like setting your standards and like sticking your ground in the face of people who are more than happy to trample over your standards. I think that she just barely scratched the surface of it in a way that's deeply unsatisfying to me. It felt like, the phrases are so generic, lines like, there's nothing left to lose. This is our time, just breathe in and breathe out. Like, what are we doing? And then the conflict itself being so ambiguous that we can't actually if she made this explicitly a political song, then we could talk about like, okay, what do you do when people in power are crossing your moral lines? What are your options? Do you collaborate with other people? Do you, write a note to your governor? What do you do then? There's something that you could talk about, that if it's an ex-boyfriend or a toxic relationship, abusive boyfriend or something, what do you do then if he's continually crossing your lines? Do you kick him out of the house? Do you leave the scenario? And honestly, that's very similar to what Going Under was about. And I did a breakdown of Going Under, where it's like this idea that you are just completely overwhelmed in this relationship. What do you do then? It's not bad. It's actually beneficial from a creative and artistic standpoint to have clarity and to have specificity, I think is the word. Specificity? Is that the fucking word? To be specific. It's actually good from a creative artistic standpoint to be a little bit specific with your conflict and the nature of the conflict, so that way you can use it to bring out specific examples of like how to of the application of your theme, right? The theme here being, what do you do when someone crosses your line? You can actually say what you can do. But she doesn't really do that here. She just continually says, well, you've got to fight. This is our time. But she doesn't even say fight, right? It's not even implied. It's just like, this is our time. Well, what does that mean? Anyway, so yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue that it's also ambiguous, that we don't know exactly the nature of the conflict, and therefore we can't actually flesh out the theme with specific examples and like actual like plot devices or conflicts in the case of the song throughout the oh my God, I'm losing all my words. Throughout the length of the song, basically. Like throughout the song, we should have had these multiple moments where we can have the conflict can be expanded upon, or we can go into a certain element of it. Like on Afterlife, where the second verse actually has her directly address the adversary and make it clear to the adversary that, if we don't die now, then we'll forever be haunted by this conflict. And then she says that, and then she mentions like other people are relying on her. And that's actually a really important plot point in the second verse of Adversary, the idea that she's actually not just fighting for herself, but she's fighting for other people too, which then, becomes very relevant in the climax, where we find out that she, even though technically she is doing something good and fighting for other people, her motivations for killing the adversary are not for other people. They're selfish. So it's like a little twist on like that idea, and it just gives a lot more weight to the idea that she is, eliminating her adversary and herself out of pure revenge. We wouldn't have that, like, it gives that more of an impact, like the revenge element of it, personal vengeance, and the moral weight of that is given more substance by having verse 2 explain to us that there are other people involved in the conflict in that song. Do you see what I'm saying? So like that's like a little plot point that you can add in the song, which gives more weight to your climax. We didn't really get that here. there's like nothing to talk about. I mean, again, we go back to, I don't even want to talk about verse 2. Verse 2 broke my ass in this video. I'm sorry if you listened to the whole thing. It was not great. But basically, yeah, it's just like, choose your own reality. One day there will be no more sacrifice because there's nothing left to lose. Like, yeah, duh, no shit. Like, we already know that. So why, like, what does this do for our conflict? Whereas she could have been saying, like, you know, rally together with the people you love, you know, teach them to fight too. Or if it's your ex-boyfriend, you know, leave the situation. If they try to follow you, what do you do then? I mean, there's so many angles that you could take in terms of the way that the story goes, but you can't take those angles if you don't establish the story. So it's, I'm getting like more heated than I expected to. I think it's just because I'm like, you know, I can't quite figure out, like, it's just tough. It's like trying to grab water, essentially. Yeah, I mean, and so again, I like, just to kind of wrap this all up so we can keep it moving. What I'm saying here is like these lyrics are just very basic. They're very bland. It's more of like, they're the bad guys and we're the good guys type of writing, you know? And it's just cringy. It's just, it's kind of amateur hour. I mean, and like, she makes it super clear, like, that's funny what I just said about like that writing of like, they're the bad guys, we're the good guys. She quite literally says in this song, but what if I'm not the enemy? Like, obviously you're not the enemy, Amy. None of us think that you're the enemy. We go into the song with the presumption that you're the good guy. Not every song is like that. There are definitely songs that are told from the point of view of like a the villain or the morally bad character, right? I mean, there's that movie Obsession that just came out where Bear is not really a particularly morally righteous dude. I don't think he's like pure evil the way that some people have talked about him. He's just a conflicted character. He's a real character. He's a conflicted character, right? He's definitely not morally righteous though, because of some of the decisions that he makes throughout that movie. So you can tell a story from the point of view of the villain, but in this case, on Evanescence's songs, I have no reason to think that she is the villain or the enemy in this song. So why are you telling me that you're not the enemy? Well, it's because this song was written with the mindset of they're the bad guys and we're the good guys and we fight for what's righteous, and that's that. And it's like, that's just, yeah, that to me, that's just like generic resistance song or generic songwriting, number 4037. We've heard it a million times. There's really not a whole lot to pull from this theme, even though the theme is good, which is very frustrating. Yeah, it just feels like a wasted opportunity. There's such an interesting theme. You know, what do you do when someone crosses your boundaries, and how do you deal with that? When do you stand up and fight for yourself? I mean, it's like every bully high school movie about like a bully ever, right? When does the nerd stand up and punch the bully? It's like such a good story. It's such a great basis for good art and good storytelling, and I just feel like the ball got completely dropped here, and not even dropped in a way that's bad, because it's not even like she wrote like bad lyrics. It just felt like the ball just sort of sat in the sun and melted. Like they just did nothing with it. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much that's what I've got to say. I'm not trying to be overly harsh. I don't think that this band or this song is like super corpo. I know, you know, as I've learned, like Evanescence is fully independent, and a lot of the songs on this album have so much creative energy in them, right? You know, even some of the ones that I haven't really talked about, like About Us and Calm Down and Self-Destruct. I haven't discussed those songs much, but even those songs are very like, have a lot of creative energy and oomph in them. And at this stage of the song, because I mean, really, we're basically done with the song. There's a chorus, and then the main riff, right? And it's just nothing that we haven't heard. There is a small chorus extension, which I guess let's just get into. Let's just finish the song out, and that way I can talk about it holistically. So the third chorus has like a small extension at the end of it. I'm just gonna play it. And then we go back to the exact same chorus riff or main riff, and then she ends the song with a very cliche thing where you sing the line and then they cut off all the reverb and the song just ends on her dry vocal. Super, super cliche ending as well. So, okay, I just wanted to get through that so I could talk about the song holistically. So, of all the songs I've covered on this album, this is the most generic. This is the most bland. It feels like it was like made in a factory specifically to be a radio hit single. It is just, it's very frustrating for me to talk about because there are songs on this album that are so creatively inspired that I'm just blown away that they would make something like this, especially considering that they don't have some like record label behind them, like pushing them to sacrifice their creativity. This song just feels so by the books and so bland that it doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I mean, I don't like Beautiful Lie, but even Beautiful Lie had moments on it, like the bass guitar in the verses is awesome. Listen to the bass guitar in the verse of Beautiful Lie. It sounds sick. So it's like even that song, which I don't like, had cool moments on it. Even Who Will You Follow, which I was very critical of, has a breakdown in 7/8 timing, which is super weird, super unconventional. So this song to me just sticks out like a sore thumb of like, what happened here? Like the riff, the main riff is the type of riff that maybe you jam out at one practice session and then go, yeah, it's just not quite good enough. And yet they like way over, I mean, they play it more than they needed to in this song. The whole song is, it's like basically the only instrumental part of this song, because even the breakdown is kind of based on the main riff essentially. So I'm just not sure what happened here. And I honestly find it kind of disappointing. This song isn't explicitly bad, but I almost kind of wish that it was, because at least that, you know, if a song is like explicitly just bad, that typically means that there was like a risk taken, like a creative risk that they took. But with this, it's, you know, the lab grown corporate rock, you know, thing, it's just like, there's just not much to say. And it's dissatisfying and honestly kind of disappointing to analyze, because especially because they did have a theme that was interesting. They just totally decided not to do anything interesting with it. And that is disappointing. It is a bummer. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough song to think about and to break down. And I mean, if you skip to this part, I was just like the second verse especially just really, it throws me for a loop, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Where is this going? You're missing out on so many opportunities to do cool things. So yeah, I'm not a fan. And again, when I was first listening through this album, this song in particular, I was like, what is going on here? You know, I thought Beautiful Lie was a pretty meager start to the album. This song, very disappointing, not what I was expecting. And then we got Who Will You Follow, which I already heard, but I had a lot of problems with Who Will You Follow. And I was honestly like, I was getting worried about the album. I was like, oh my God, is this what we're in for? And then luckily, thank God, I mean, Rapture came along and just like completely pulled me back in. Loved Rapture. And honestly, a lot of the songs on the album are great after the first three. But